Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another Brewnomics interview series at the lounge at the end of the universe. I'm Jerry.
I'm Paula.
And today, our special guest is...
Jake with Lost Grove Brewing.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited to have Jake here. We've been chatting for a little bit. This is going to be a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's a show about beer. Let's drink a beer and get started. Beer, generously provided to us. That's how it's going to go today. By Jake. Why don't you go ahead, Jake, and tell us what's first up?
So the first one we decided to go with was in season as our fresh hop beer. So we've got our Norwegian Fresh Pedal is what we're calling it. So the reason we went with Norwegian Fresh Pedal is it's a wet hop beer. And it's the Eldorado hops that we got over at Mill 95. I believe they were picking them up from, you know what, I'm not going to say because I don't remember exactly which farm they got them from.
Smart.
Yeah. I don't want to just make some weird, bold statement.
When in doubt, just
totally
redact
inaccurate. Yeah. We'll get rid of that portion of it. But the Eldorados are grown here, in Idaho, over in the Wilder area. So you got like a nice, like big hop characteristic nose to it. We did use the wet hops throughout the entire process. So a lot of times breweries will do a little, I won't even throw breweries under the bus, but at times fresh hops aren't fully used through all of wet hop beers. For us, we decided to go and use them throughout the entire process. So we used them for our bittering. We used them also back when we have to use our mash tun to, we go through the boiling process and then we bring them back through into the mash tun. We will pull all that wort back into the mash tun, and that's where we put all those fresh hops. So we put about 125 pounds of fresh hops into our mash tun. We'll bring that wort back in and let it sit at like 195 degrees or so. So it's still in that state where we're going to kill anything that's on those, on those pedals or what they're doing. And then once you transfer it back over into our fermentation tanks, we actually dry hopped it then with some of the fresh hops as well. So cut them in half. We actually learned it from Tyler over at what is Tyler's brewery's name?
Powder House? No. Is that one? No. I was saying,
no, it's really famous.
Like we were Sockeye?
No, it's over in Oregon.
Oh, a different brewery.
Ontario.
I was like,
not Ontario. Oh my God, Baker City. This is the most famous brewery. Yes. That's
there we
fantastic.
go. Barley Browns.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carl.
No, they're pretty good. To our previous conversation, remember the three most popular names in craft beer? Number one's Tyler.
That's true. Yes, that is true. Yeah. Tyler, I apologize.
So I was going to say, you got to forgive him, Tyler.
Beers.
There are a lot of you out there.
And they're delicious beers. But yeah, Tyler was saying that he always cuts his, he'll cut his fresh hops in half before he dry hops with them, which makes a ton of sense. You're getting into that lupulin land, right? You're releasing all those oils. So I think it just makes a ton of sense. You're going to cut them in half before you throw them into those bags and put them in there. But 3.7%.
That's a low guy on this one.
Yeah.
I saw that on there. I typically don't drink beer this low. This is not bad. I would have a shot of vodka next to it. So is this just so it's accessible and you can drink it all day without being a fool?
It is, for sure, yeah. Our brewer really enjoys trying to make those beers. I think those beers are tough to make, to be honest with you as well. I think when you get up in the higher ABVs, you have the ability to kind of mask some off flavors, either with your hop additions or some of your other adjuncts, or even with your grains, getting some darker malts in there where, if you got a low ABV beer, you don't have a ton of wiggle room. And so I think this beer actually does a great job of that, where, we're highlighting the hops, and that's the other thing, is on a fresh hop beer, I don't know what else we're trying to do. It's just we're taking the hops and we're trying to present them to people.
Sure.
And so I think this beer does a great job of what the Eldorado hop is in general.
I think it does very well. Just from the smell of it, and then from just the mouthfeel, it's all just very refreshing, as you would get from those hops.
Totally, you get nice juicy characteristic in the body of it, on the nose. You get a good that fresh, almost herbal characteristic as well. Which is that wet leaf, kind of hop character. And then, I think it finishes pretty strong at 3.7%. I think that the dry hop and the body of those oils still lingers around on your palate, so that it's still a really well-rounded beer 3.7%, which I don't know if there's a ton of them out there. I mean, Utah used to get bagged on all the time because all their like 4% beers or all their like low ABV beers, everybody's just like, oh, they taste like water. Like, these are terrible, you know? No offense, Utah. I don't think you had terrible beers. That's just what the overall, opinion was, it seemed like.
It wasn't very good. Getting better. I have no problem throwing shade. That's what I'm here for.
I do. I apologize. I should not have got him started on throwing shade. So apparently that's inappropriate. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you guys think? It's good?
It is. Right? It is very good. It is. I don't want to say very floral, but it does have that essence of floral to it. It sits real nice. Almost like rose water that'll get you drunk after a while.
Kind of.
You're going to have to work for it. It is very tasty. It is very tasty, very refreshing. Today was a warm, dry day. So this is a perfect beer for a day like today.
Yeah. And obviously limited, we only did 10-barrel batch. So it's flying out right now. We've got it in a few different bars and restaurants around town, and then you can come and pick it up at the brewery.
Always go and pick it up at the brewery.
Which is great. But the reason for Norwegian is we're using the Kvik yeast strain, which is this like super yeast that a company in Norway has produced. Mm-hmm. And what this yeast strain does is it allows you to ferment at like extremely high temperatures, and it doesn't put off any off flavors. And so it's just this like crazy yeast that like doesn't really have diacetyl, doesn't have any like sulfur characteristics. It's just like super clean, super hardy, like reproduces like nobody's business, and just creates an amazing final product. Like we've actually used it in a couple of our other beers, but this one was fun, and the reason we wanted to use it in this is so that, yeast obviously has a flavor profile, but this specific strain, it's the Oslo strain of the Kvik yeast, is like just really clean, crisp, to where we could highlight that hop again a little bit more.
Yeah, we were talking about before the show started how much beer's boomed in the last few years. I've never heard of Kvik yeast. I've seen it a little bit in like the last 2 years. Never heard of it before that. That was the first time I've heard it said. I just know it's Kviek, if I believe is the spelling of it. And I've seen certain breweries have like a Kvik series of theirs. So it's a yeast strain that has definitely blown up and started to dominate.
Yeah, I think this yeast strain's only maybe 2 years old. I mean, it just came out. Yeah, super recently. And they do have a couple like varieties of it. So they actually have some that actually lend more towards like your juicier beers that you want to do, right? Like a Vermont yeast that you look at, right? But they just, I think they vary. There's like 4, I believe. I haven't looked into a ton. The brewer, JT, who's our head brewer, he'd be able to give us a little more info.
So you know way more than I do on that.
So yeah, they have a couple different varieties on there. But
the name of the beer sounds like a band name.
So Tom, our sales guy. So for us at the brewery, like our beer names, they're all just like either like personal experiences. We just try and have fun with them. We're not trying to get like pigeonhole ourselves too hard in like specific area. So for us, it's just about. I mean, it goes into our brand name, which I don't know. I mean, we want to dive into that.
We'll get there. Absolutely. There, I mean, might as well, since it does go into your brand name. Let's talk about the Lost Grove brand, because that's always the first questions on the list is how did Lost Grove come to be and where did the name come from?
So, Lost Grove, I started working in the brewery industry, so I helped Payette Brewing Company get started. So I started working with Mike Francis over there like 6 months before Payette Brewing opened, and helped create the distribution and sales model for Payette. And we had a great time for about 5 years. We, Payette, we did what we did, where we expanded to a bunch of states and we grew pretty big. And for me, I was on the road a ton, and it just kind of seemed like, Boise was where I wanted to be. And during our expansion, I was just on the road a lot, and I wanted to be at home more. So myself and one of the brewers at Payette, we'd been childhood friends for a long time. So we decided to open up Lost Grove Brewing. And where Lost Grove comes from, or where the name comes from, is the idea that Boise in itself is this Lost Grove, right? It's like a hidden gem, or it's the place that you want to find. And so the thought behind Lost Grove Brewing is like find that place that makes you happy. So whatever that is, right? So whether it's Norwegian death metal, or whether it's like fishing, or whether it's like comic books, or playing video games, or skiing, or hiking, or biking, right? We're not trying to just be like an outdoor brand or a comic book brand or anything of that nature. For us, it's just like you personally, like what makes you happy? Like we want you to think of us, while you're doing what your happy place is. And so that's the reason for like all these like random names and things of that nature, is because it's just throughout our people that work there. We're like, what's funny? Like you got a funny story of like some friends of yours that, why are we gonna name this beer this? So it's our friend's, crazy ex-girlfriend or something along those lines. Like,
no, that's awesome. I love that. I love the history of how you name a beer. Because that has to be, I always think that has to be one of the most challenging and exciting things of a new beer.
For sure. And I think especially in this day and age, right? Like how many breweries are in the U.S. now?
Oh,
God. Like 5,000 or something?
If not more.
Right?
There's going to be a couple thousand more tomorrow, I'm sure, at this
rate.
Like,
how many beers do they make?
Yeah.
Right? Like they each got another, so it's called they each make 8 beers. So we got 40,000 beers out there, right? That all need names, right? And then you got all these big breweries that are just legitimately hiring people to just trademark names, so that you can't have a name, right? So for us, that's also the reason why we just make up super random names. It's you know what I don't want to do? Get sued.
Right, exactly. I don't need that effing cease and desist from, AB or
right, exactly.
whomever.
But jacuzzi suit? Who's going to name a beer jacuzzi suit?
It's not
Lost
a suite.
Grove.
It's a suit.
We will.
We will. Yeah, it's weird, but it would be kind of sweet if you had one.
It sounds like a D-list superhero or villain. Jacuzzi suit.
Is that he's
Try it
dressed to
again.
the nines? He's wearing a zoot suit, but he just shoots jacuzzi water from his hands.
Oh, just 140
hot,
degrees
140
water
degrees,
right at you.
boiling ass water straight to your face.
Give him the jacuzzi suit.
All right, Jake. Before starting Lost Grove, give us a little bit of your background. What did you do? What brought you on board or wanting to start this adventure into brewing?
Yeah, no. So
A brewery.
yeah, I got my degree in hospitality and restaurant management, and was working down at the Bitter Creek Ale House, Red Feather Lounge. Great spots. Yep. During that time period, I was young and ignorant and super ambitious, right? When you're that age, I guess. I was 22, 23. And I was talking to a buddy, and I was like, I'm going to open up a brew pub. And my buddy's like, interesting. A friend of ours that we went to school with wants to open up a brewery, hence Mike Francis. So we started chatting about Payette Brewing Company back in the day. And so, yeah, we just started kind of chatting about it. And, my goal is to have a brew pub. His goal is to have a brewery. We start talking. I don't know how serious he is. I leave. I go on a little vision quest for a year down to Nicaragua, do a surf sail trip, which was super sweet. And then in that time period, I'm still working with Mike on his brewery, and I just send him a blind cover letter and resume that's yo, this is how I can help your brewery. And he's like, sweet, when are you going to move back? So I moved back to Boise to help Mike start Payette Brewing Company. So yeah, I moved back 6 months. And then for the first 6 months, we weren't open, and we just kind of created the distribution sales plan, and we opened, and 6 months later, we hired a few other people. And, during that time, it was great, but Mike had a ton of investors, and so it came time where I also wanted to own a business. And so that's why we parted ways. Mike was the first person that I told I was going to open a brewery. And then 2 years later, we opened up Lost Grove Brewing. So Lost Grove opened up in 2017, October of 2017. We just had our 3-year anniversary.
Wow. Happy anniversary.
Last weekend, 2 days ago.
Where's our invite?
I forgot to invite you guys. It's on the Facebook. And the Instagram.
That's the one thing is as much as we podcast, we kind of suck at social media.
I'm also terrible at social media. And also just networking in general, which seems like I should probably be better at it. But
We're here now.
Now we're networking. This is networking. Yes. We're going to tell our followers.
They compared beards earlier. It was the best conversation ever.
We braided our beards into each other's.
That never took place.
That's made up and would be very
Speaking
weird.
of jacuzzi soup, though, we got this blackberry lemon kettle sour.
Oh, could you imagine how weird that would be?
Mm-hmm. I feel like they're pretty similar in length.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It worked too well. This
Judo would get real weird.
This smells wonderful. It smells like if you have kids, don't let them near this.
It's pretty tasty. The one reason I brought this beer, too, is that I think JT...
Oh, so this is the sour.
This is our sour, yes. This is the kettle sour. I think he crushes our sours every time. Mm-hmm. Every time. They're so delicious. And he's got pretty much brand freedom on the what beers we're going to brew, and especially on the sours of like creating the different flavor profiles that we're going to put into them. So all of our kettle sours, we're always going to have adjuncts in there. Whether it's blackberries and lemon, or cinnamon and orange, or agave and orange. I feel like I've said a few of the same ingredients a couple times, but he's got more variety than that for sure. No, they're all pretty tasty.
How many sours do you guys tend to have on tap?
Typically, we just have one, but there's always like an overlap.
Okay.
So we always just consistently always have a sour beer.
At least in sour.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who, but I was talking to somebody before we had to reschedule the first time how we're going to do Lost Grove, and they were like, I really like their sours. And I was like, I didn't know they had sours. This is phenomenal. I am not a sour guy, and I would tell you if I did not like your beer. Probably not, on air. But this is very enjoyable. It's got a nice crispness to it, a nice tart back end. I didn't expect a sour at first. That's why I was kind of like, oh, hello. But what you're in there with the aroma, the way it sits, the way it kind of just does is a nice little cha-cha down your palate on the way down there, nice little gentle dance. It's a hell of a sour. I like this a lot.
Most definitely. I love sours. The way I like to judge a sour is by your pucker, your little hard piece. And it can be very displeasing, or it can be very awesome. With this one, I like it a lot. It almost tastes, it almost tastes like I've had a Sour Patch Kid.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It lingers, like the pucker lingers, but it's not overly puckery.
It's not like stabbing you.
And you can feel it on your tongue, you feel it on the roof of your mouth.
But not stabbing you in the back of the ear, like when it gets a bit
it's that sweetness that comes
too
through.
much.
Yeah. No, like I said, honestly, JT has killed them all the time. And I think when somebody brought up the sour bit earlier, which was not a comedic joke, it was more of just what they had stated. We had 3 sours on at one point, and that was just kind of our overlapping and the whole shutdown thing that took place, COVID-19. That kind of made it where we ended up stacking up. We just had beer in tanks and thought something was going to run out, and that was a whole. It was great, actually. It was a ton of fun. We thoroughly enjoyed all of it. Yeah,
so much
for
fun.
sure. Yeah. So
what's the ABV on this bad boy?
4.1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So again, and that's really where we try and hit pretty much all of our sours is right in that 4% range. Again, JT and myself, honestly, we like low ABV beers. I love all beer, but we like low ABV beers because we like to drink a lot of them. Sure. So you either go one of two directions, right? Where you drink 3 beers, get that sweet buzz, or you get an opportunity where you can drink 8 beers,
Hang out all night.
Yeah, you hang out all night. Yeah, exactly.
I think this would be a good starter sour if anybody was interested in doing that.
Yes,
I don't like sours, but maybe I might get into them, sort of thing, like a gateway sour. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could back that up for sure.
Which is, we like we just like gateway things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong. There's a valuable factor to be had with that because there are a lot of people. You know, Paul and I have a lot of friends too. It's like either I don't drink beer or my partner doesn't drink beer, and I really like beer, but I kind of want to expand my palate, their palate. What should I do?
Totally.
Lost Grove.
Come to Lost Grove. We got a bunch of gateway beers for sure.
And they've got some that are not so gateway, but definitely in general.
But I would definitely, that is one thing that we always do recommend for like our staff, you know, when for all of our pouring staff, we're like, look, if someone comes in and they just straight up tell you they don't like beer, they hate beer, but they're here because their girlfriend or their boyfriend brought them here, we always recommend like trying to get them on a sour. Because it's like juice, right? It's very different than in most beers, so. Yeah, and jacuzzi soup comes from The Simpsons, where Marge's sister, I believe, Peggy, what's her name? Skinnier one.
I was like, the twin sisters, or? Oh, we're not.
Puts on a jacuzzi suit. It's like a giant hot. It's like a giant hot tub.
Not big Simpson
But just
guys.
in a suit, though. So you regulate the temperature, and you're just like sitting in, you're like sitting in a suit full of water. It's a jacuzzi suit.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really obscure, but
Obscure
that's what I
enough.
mean, but
I guess it depends on what season of The Simpsons it was.
64.
yeah, maybe episode 39.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is one thing that sits close to me. We love the mission about being a sustainable brewery. Because we have pretty wildly different views in general on politics and life through Brewnomics. But one thing we all agree on is environmentalism, sustainability. Very important to us. So tell us a little bit about what it means and the efforts you go through to be a sustainable brewery at Lost Grove.
Yeah, I think, sustainability-wise, it goes above just where we're purchasing our ingredients and things of that nature. It's also about making sure that we're taking care of our community and taking care of our employees and those types of incentives as well. So, for us, we're trying to purchase our hops locally as possible, which we have obviously a really good opportunity for that when it comes to all of our local farms here. And now with Mill 95, I think it's been a great addition to not only our beer community, but our hop community as well. And then we've also got phenomenal water, right, in Idaho, which is great and, easily to be sustainable. And then we also produce, I think we're like in the top 5 for like producing grain too, when it comes for like barley and two-row. And so we personally pick up all of our base malt, which you guys are probably familiar with how the whole brewing economics works. But, all of our beers, we got about 80% of our base malt. We have 80% of our grain in our beers are made up of a base malt. And that base malt comes out of eastern Idaho. And so we get that, which I think kind of has a similar story to us, but it's called mountain malt. Son of a guy that grew barley, right? Grew grain and decided instead of continuing in the farming legacy, he wanted to just become a maltster. So he started malting all of his own grains that his dad was growing. And so that comes out of eastern Idaho. And so that makes up our base malt for all of our beers as well. So for us, it's trying to buy locally as much as we can for all of our different ingredients. And then, our spent grain we're giving to our farmers. We're trying to make sure that the water that we're putting down the drains, that we're hitting it at the right pH, so they're not messing with anything that has to do with our sewer system. And then we're trying to be sustainable in the idea of, when we have events, we're encouraging people by giving discounts to bring their stainless steel cups so that we can reuse those. We only sell those stainless steel cups. It's like giving back to our community. We do our Powerful Pints initiative, which donates money to different nonprofits. And so we actually just filed to become a B Corp,
Excellent.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah. So
Yeah. We've talked a lot about that on the podcast, but being able to be like a certified B Corp, that's when you're doing it right. It really is kind of across the board. That's not an easy one to get.
Yeah, it's not an easy one, but for us, it's not only for when we looked at it, we realized that these are all things that we believe in, and these are all like our values and our missions. But the other thing that we realized is like, man, this is such a great thing to help us continue to progress, right? And that's what's cool about the B Corp is it like helps us continue to like think about what we need to do better because it kind of pushes you, And I feel like there's times, being a small business owner, you kind of can get in a rut, You're like, oh man, things are going good. Like we're just going to keep doing these things. And you also get to times where you're like, oh man, things are going really terrible. Like, how do I get myself out of this? But I think, with that like B Corp, and with their vision and their missions and, that align with us, I think so well, is that it helps push us in that same direction, right? And it helps guide us, right? And they've got templates and B Corp businesses are all about helping each other. So we can give them a call and be like, yo, we're stuck on this. Like, how do we, we don't got a ton of money right now, but we want to be able to do this a little bit better. Like, have you guys found any solutions on like how we better ourselves? Like, how you guys bettered yourselves that we could use? And everybody's super open and,
That's awesome.
easy to work with. So
That's awesome. That's
Super
really cool to hear.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is like community. So when you can establish a whole new one like that and have somebody to reach out that's like, they're not going to be. It's so cool because I'm kind of a competitive guy, but I've realized this isn't necessarily an industry about competition. It's an industry about like growth through community, through helping each other out.
Totally.
There's something real special about that I've just grown to like really appreciate and adore.
I think it's that friendly competition, right? It's like,
Absolutely.
Right? Like, yeah, we still want to, sell more beer or like win more medals, but at the same time, like, you got into this business because you want to get into this business. I got into this business because I want to get into this business.
Exactly.
Like, I want you to succeed because you dropped everything you're doing in your life and got into this business that's super hard. I did the same thing. Got into this business super hard. Like, So we also want to take care of each other.
Absolutely.
Because we know it's a tough business, so,
That's
why
great.
not continue to help each other out?
That's great.
But
Do you guys self-distribute?
we do.
Oh, how's that? That's got to be a double-edged sword, huh?
It is. It is, for sure. It means your phone's on all the time, right? But I really enjoy it because we're the first line of offense or we're the first line of defense, right? So it's like if somebody makes a mistake, if our driver's having a bad day and irritates somebody or makes somebody mad, the call comes directly to us and, we can help solve that problem. Or if we run out of beer for some reason and we oversold, we can step right in and, apologize and make it better. Or when you got that middleman, I think things can kind of like fall to the wayside. So we're the ones that are always responsible, and there's no finger pointing, So if we mess it up, it's our fault. We messed it up, And if we do it right, like we get to accept that gratitude. And I think, sometimes with distributors, what happens is that, somebody along the line messes up, and it might not be your brewery's fault, but you might get that finger wag or get pointed at, right? Or even on like a sailing standpoint, it's a telephone game, right? It's like this brewer's beer for this nonprofit, and it's this style of beer, and that's what the distributor's saying, and you're like, no, you guys, that's not right. You totally told them the wrong information. It's actually for this nonprofit and this style beer. So I think being able to kind of, control the narrative the whole way through the process is something that I really like about it. And then it also helps provide jobs, So we get to hire more people, onto our staff and continue to push, kind of like our beliefs and how a business should be ran. So take care of employees.
So with it, how much of your beer do you distribute and how much do you keep like in-house and at other maybe growler stations or restaurants or whatever?
So right now we call on about 150 different bars and restaurants and grocery stores. And right now we're at about 50-50 for what sells out of our tap rooms compared to what sells out of the bars and restaurants and grocery stores. So determining, how much there is there. It's all just kind of supply and demand. Being small, it also creates us being agile. Also having our own, us distributing also helps us in the idea that making a bunch of different beers is significantly easier, for our sales guys to go sell it when we only have 5 kegs, right? It's like, yeah, we got 5 kegs of this. You guys want to go sell it? Rather than like a distributor, they're like, they're going to be like ho-hum you the whole day. Like, why am I just setting up this whole product to go sell 5 kegs? You're like, because we want you to.
Because said please.
Because it's really good.
Yummy.
It's so tasty.
So you talked about your Powerful Pints program, which is dope. Is there anything else that you think makes you guys different from anybody else?
I don't even know necessarily if like our Powerful Pint separates us from a ton of others, right? I think that's one thing that's super cool with breweries. Everybody's trying to give back. I think for us, what maybe does separate us a little bit is that it's just like in our blood, I feel like, on the give back side. So one thing that we've done is that we have been very passionate about Idaho Gives Day. We're very passionate about nonprofits in general. And for us, it's not about being able to necessarily give them a ton of dollar value because we don't have a ton of money. But what we do have is we have a voice, right? Mm-hmm. And we have people that enjoy our product and potentially will listen to us maybe, right? Who knows? I don't know. I think some people listen to us.
Like 3 are listening right now. At least 3.
Exactly. Right. Maybe more later on down the road.
Who knows?
But we'll find out shortly, I guess. But so for Idaho Gives is we realize that what people need for that day, Idaho Gives is the day of like giving, where it's all like this online donating program. It usually happens the first weekend in May. It's been going now for about, this might be like 10 years coming up here pretty soon. But we realized that something that was missing there was actual face-to-face people interaction, right? Because that's something that's true to me too, is that, and why I don't think like pubs or those things are going to go anywhere is like, we want to sit down and have beers. That's why we're sitting here right now, right? Having beers, talking to each other, having a conversation, right? And I think that always needs to continue to happen. And so Idaho Gives was this online donation. For us, we're like, yo, we want people to go and meet the nonprofit that they're going to be donating to, not just blindly, get online and be like, oh, squirrels are cool, yeah, $15. Mm-hmm. Like, why don't you go meet the people that are actually like, donating these squirrels and figure out their passion for it? And so we created the Idaho Gives block party, where we have 50 last year. Well, 2 years ago. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have it last year, but 2 years ago, I think we had 50 or 75 nonprofits come and fill up the streets all around us, and we had a couple live bands. We got a few other breweries to donate some kegs with us, and we donated 100% of all of our sales that day to distribute to all these nonprofits. And we got a bunch of different corporate sponsors to come in and sponsor it to also like give back. But the biggest reason for doing it was more that we wanted to get people to one location to actually walk around and talk and interact with these nonprofits to see the passion that people behind nonprofits have. Because that, to me, is like super impactful, right? Like if you can actually like talk to somebody and hear the passion about what they're doing, then I think that's going to go a mile, right? Rather than just like online, like, yeah, here's $5. Mm-hmm. Like the next day, or 2 days down the road, your coworker's going to be like, oh, did you give on Idaho Gives Day? You're like, yeah, I totally gave $5. And they're like, oh, sweet, who'd you give it to? And you're like,
exactly.
I gave $5 on Idaho Gives Day.
Well, and I love that because
like, I don't remember.
Well, either way, it's still something. And to your point, you're a lot more likely, I think, to go and tell your friends, your coworkers, share it online. If you go and meet the person and hear a great story and their passion versus, I like squirrels, $5. That's awesome, man. I love to see that.
And you might not remember it, but if you go there and meet them, you're gonna be like, yes, actually, Jody down there was awesome, and I totally gave $10 to the Squirrel Foundation, and they're cool, and this is what they do.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note,
if there's not a Squirrel Foundation, somebody should totally start one.
There should be.
I'm not that passionate about squirrels, but I feel like somebody's got to be out
My
there.
dogs are.
Yeah, we might need one. Your dog totally are.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and drink some more beer and ask some more questions. Cool. Time for a few plugs real quick. I know everybody's favorite part of the show, the whole reason you tune in. It's important. All right. We love the lounge at the end of the universe, and you do too, because you like beer. You like us. Remember, this is one of the few places that will actually deliver beer to you. That's right. Beer delivered to your home. I believe they still do growler exchanges and everything. Are you sitting around the house, you're working at home 3 o'clock, not wearing pants, and you're like, what could I use? A beer? LoungeBoise.com, they will not only deliver a growler, if you use the discount code Brewnomics, $5 off your growler fill. These guys, we've talked about this before, it's one of the only places you can go if you are an artist of any type, rather you're a musician, a comedian, other types of artists. Podcaster. They're doing a great job of letting us continue to work on and share our art, whether it's virtually, socially distanced, whatever. So to me, it's very important to make sure you are help supporting local artists. No better way than to also support the lounge. Make sure you check out their GoFundMe project name, #SaveTheLounge. Donate if you can, share if you can. It helps them, it helps artists, it helps Boise, it helps you feel like a better person. And we got some upcoming events here. Remember, every Wednesday night we got open mic. We also got a Dark Brew comedy show coming up October 24th. And then Thump TV presents Apocalypse, a steampunk/apocalypse themed rave on Halloween. Oh, that'll be fun. Good place for that.
That sounds wild.
That does
That sounds
sound
wild.
I love steampunk. All right. Most importantly, go check out their GoFundMe. Project name, #SaveTheLounge.
So perfect segue. We got Turn Up the Beats. What were we just talking about? Giving back
Giving
at
back
least
the music community specifically.
right? And making sure that local artists are being supported.
Yes.
So we've got our Turn Up the Beats here, which is a beer, which, first off, delicious.
Delicious.
Blackberry Helles Beet Lager. 5% ABV.
So tell us what the hell is this beer is about.
So, will do. This beer was a collaboration between WPA, Woodland Empire, and Lost Grove Brewing. And the side eye gives me a little nod of like, what is WPA Brewing Company?
WTF is WPA.
Well, we're not quite WTF, but WPA is Works Progress Administration. And it's a collaboration between the owners of Bitter Creek Ale House and Red Feather Lounge. It's been in, like the process between them and Russ Stoddard over at Oliver Russell since like 2015. And so finally, we're getting that momentum. And right now, it couldn't have been the perfect time to start a WPA brewery. In the idea that the Works Progress Administration was brought around to create jobs, and to create energy about getting people back to work, and that's the idea behind this brand. Is that right now we don't have a brewery to push this brand forward, but what we can do is we can get out there and we can get other breweries and work with other breweries to create beers that donate back to the community. And so 100% of the proceeds from the Turn Up the Beats lager go to the Live Music Relief Fund, which the Live Music Relief Fund is a fund that supports live music from Tree Fort Music Festival. They're the ones that started this fund. And so 100% of these proceeds will be donated back to musicians within our community to try and keep that progressing. Because I would say, as much as myself in the brewery industry and restaurateurs have felt this hit from COVID-19, musicians and artists have felt it 5 times worse than we have, and they are going to continue to feel this impact for quite some time. And I think that's something that we can't lose as a community, and we can't lose as just humans in general, is that art and music and all of those things are so important to us, and we need to make sure that we still have artists that can, continue to sustain and make ends meet. And so that's why we want to try and get back to the artists and do all those things. But this beer is delicious.
And this beer is very delicious. It's very refreshing. What a gorgeous color. on that. A nice little reddish amber hue to it. Very little carbonation on this guy, I can tell, which really helps kind of that taste profile just hang out. But it doesn't stain, it doesn't overstay or anything. It's a very nice welcome. What's the ABV on this one?
This one's like 5%.
Right at 5.
You know, and I will throw it out there that we would love to have the carbonation a little bit higher. You know, we'll point out some flaws.
No, that's
here
not
and there,
that's not a dig or anything like that. I've always been kind of the guy that certain beers, especially if it's something that has a lot of crazy flavors, like beets or whatever, carbonation can take away from those and can hide that, and you don't get the true flavor. It's not a hopped up IPA that you need a lot of carbonation. It's very artsy, beautiful beer. I was trying to think. Delicate was the word coming to mind, but I'm like, that's not it. But no, the carbonation's not a dig. It's not an insult by any means. I actually appreciate that about this beer.
Nice. No, I mean, that's good to hear, honestly. Because, I mean, me personally, at times, on those lighter beers that do have some of those, like, bold flavor characteristics, I do like that carbonation in there to, like, kind of, like, dance across the palate, how you said earlier, in the idea of kind of like some of our sours, where it releases some of that sweetness, right? But at the same point, this beer, to me, I would not say is flawed. I thoroughly enjoy it, and it is a phenomenal patio beer to sit and sip on, especially with this sweet Indian summer that we're getting right now.
It is, but it's actually got some flavor. It's got some personality. It's not a generic industrial lager that you're just drinking because you want a beer on a hot day. Totally. It's a beer that you can drink on a hot day when you want to appreciate the beer and the company around you. That's what I'll say about this one.
And that's what's fun, too, is Woodland is the ones that really inspired this beer. And if you know Woodland Empire and their beers, I mean, Rob and Keeley are amazing, and their brew team's awesome. And they always just have super fun, like, creative ideas on not only, like, what they're going to put in their product, but also on the sustainability side of, like, you know, let's get some local beets, you know, let's find some blackberries, like. And so it was just a fun project to work on them with, because they make cool beers, and they were the inspiration with giving back to the Live Music Relief Fund, because they're big music people as well, and so yeah, I think it was a nod, you know.
I think my favorite part about this particular beer is the back end of it. You know, when like you eat something, you drink something, you may breathe it out, and it's like, I didn't like that. This overall is just overall pleasing, man.
Totally.
Yeah, I breathe it out. I'm just like, I want more of it.
Totally.
Maybe it's just a mask. I'm not sure.
Well, that's even better, right? I mean, usually when I breathe into a mask, I'm like, I don't want any more of this.
Somehow I got drunker. I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite Lost Grove beer? Do you have a favorite child?
Oh, man.
All parents have told me you have a favorite child. You just may not admit it to them.
I would say, I agree. You know, I think that there's a lot of the beers. I personally am not like a stylistic beer drinker in the idea that I don't just have like one favorite style, right? You know, that I really like. For me,
so let's be real with that beer to beat IPAs.
No, I'm actually going milk lemonade. That's my favorite beer that we make. Milk lemonade. It's a milk chocolate stout with lemon zest. It's a milk chocolate stout with lemon zest. It's delicious. Why would we not call it milk lemonade? And it's so good.
I have no argument to that.
Yes, because a lot of other people probably had similar reactions to you. Now it's just called our MML stout. But before we decided to change it to our MML stout, we did get a newscaster to straight up say on air, milk lemonade? And that was probably the highlight of our brewery career. We almost sold it after that, to be honest with you, but we didn't.
Oh, really?
So,
then you have to have another beer that's an IPA that's just around the corner.
No, it's
IPA.
our Imperial Stout.
Well, the Imperial Stout is the fudge is made.
But I'm glad you guys caught where we were heading at. A lot of people don't. Another
children.
thing, maybe we should edit out. Who knows?
We're 30-something-year-old children.
But, yeah, milk lemonade. Delicious. Phenomenal milk stout with lemon zest. Blow your mind. It'll be coming out here in a couple months.
Oh, it's
Well,
not out yet. Okay.
No, so we just make it during winter months.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
it's not a year-round beer that we make, but it's something that we make every winter. Yep. It usually comes out around November, December. So right now we're coming out with our Ghost Town Porter. So we kind of have like a little rotation between like our Ghost Town Porter, which Ghost Town Porter is also phenomenal. I'm a dark beer fan at heart. Like I love IPA. I mean, I love beers for the season, and maybe it's just because I like fall and winter. Or like I really enjoy those months as well, you know. And so I think maybe those beers are what like stick out to me of just like sipping on beer and relaxing by fire kind of thing. So we got a Ghost Town Porter, which is a great beer too, which is a coffee hazelnut porter. And we use Dawson Taylor's coffee, which is our neighbor, which is super fun. And then, some hazelnut extract to go in there. So it's just a really delightful beer. And that comes out actually at the end of this week.
Nice.
And then once we roll through that beer, we'll come out with our Milk Lemonade. And then we'll run that through the wintertime. So.
I can't help but smile every time you say that.
Oh, that MML. But no, I'm right there with you. My favorite we're in my favorite season of beer, fall and winter. Best for your palate, worst for your waistline. It's damn good beer.
Totally. It's such good beer.
Do you have a favorite non-Lost Grove beer? And you can say non-Idaho if you don't want to.
I mean, yeah, and nothing with it. I mean, I think there's a ton. I think we make a ton of really good beers in this state. I really do. I think with the hops being as close as they are, with having the water that we do, grains being right there, I think we're underappreciated when it comes around the board. But KBS is absolutely delicious. The Kentucky Bourbon Stout for Founders is always super good. I also started falling in love with beers. When it comes to like dark beers, I think that Boise Brewing crushes it with their Black Cliffs. Like that beer is absolutely delicious.
Won't disagree with that.
As far as favorite beer, I mean, yeah, it's a tough one for me to say, but I mean, those ones are up there for me. If I'm going to a grocery store right now, and what am I picking off the shelf on the way home? I'm looking at maybe some Lush. I do like some fresh squeezed. I'll pick up the Payat Fly line if I'm looking for something a little bit sweeter, a little like maltier but light. Yeah, I would say those are the ones that are kind of hitting for me. I also just like picking up random stuff. I mean, as a brewery owner, I like to see what's out there. So I wouldn't necessarily say there's like a total go-to. I'll pick up a bunch of random things as well. Was
there a beer that you remember getting you into craft beer? Like a beer that sits out as the first time you sipped a beer and you're like, there's some good stuff.
Totally. Two of them, actually.
Okay.
Manny's Pale Ale and Mac and Jack's African Amber.
That is not the first time either of those beers have been brought up on here, and they are both absolutely phenomenal choices. And there's a reason you see them often around places. Great frickin' beers.
Totally. I mean, they're still here.
They're still here.
Right? And that was like 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Those are both ones, especially the Mac and Jacks, where if you go to maybe a certain sports pub that's more into sports than they are into beer, and they have like craft beer on, you might get the Mac and Jack. So that's always kind of one I keep my eye out for.
Right. No, I think those guys did a great job. Not only did they do a good job with like on the marketing side of it, I think they just did a good job on like, sticking with their guns, right? Pushing it out there. I mean, it's kind of like similar to like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, right? There's like a crazy stat with Sierra Nevada, but I think it was up until last year. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, since it came out, always had growth in sales. Since 1985, 86, or 86, right? 1986, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, every single year, grew in sales. Every single year. Up until, like, last year. And, like, that's saying something in a way, right? It's like, yes, the company's pushing it on branding-wise, but I think for me, personally, it's also just like, they're consistently making a product, and people just really appreciate that product. And I think that it's, got to be similar to like those beers, like with Mac and Jack's and with like Manny's Pale. It's like, those guys knew they had something that was good, and they're going to continue to push it out there. And It's just a quality product, and it's
85. So that's a 35-year-old run almost. How many products, regardless if it's beer, beverage? I accidentally turned my mic off. Now I fixed it and fucking spilled beer on myself. Awesome.
We're doing good. Yeah. Is that pizza coming anytime soon, by the way?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's the best leftover sushi. From the gas station.
But yeah, not many products in general, whether it's beer, beverage, food, retail, clothing, I bet they can say they had a 34, 35-year growth year over year.
Totally. Oh, it's crazy.
That's amazing. That is a stat to be proud of for sure.
And it's one of those things too, like, and this is kind of, I guess, off topic in that same realm, but not to some aspects. It's like, drinking local, I think, is extremely important. Obviously, I'm going to push that, right? Being somebody that owns a local business. But I think also respecting, businesses that have started small and, grow organically and, like, treat their employees well and, like, do it right, And when we're talking like Sierra Nevada and like New Belgium and like those businesses do phenomenal things for their communities and for their employees and for everybody they do. And I feel like sometimes they get a really bad rap from, the beer geeks of the world or like, the beer guys of the world in some ways. Cause it's like, they're so big, they're selling out, like yada, yada. And you're like, yeah, but look what they did for the last 30 years, man. They like gave people phenomenal jobs. They probably helped grow the beer industry more than anybody else, right? Like, I bet if you were to do like a little tree off of everybody that worked at like Sierra Nevada or New Belgium and how many breweries started off of those brewers that left those companies, like, that's why beer is what it is.
Absolutely. They're godfathers. Yeah. There's no other way about it. I totally agree. Totally. That's very well said. Good way to look at it. Really good way to look at it. I appreciate that viewpoint a lot. Yeah. You ready to throw some rapid fire at this guy, Paul? Or do you want to drink another one of his beers?
We do have it in front of us.
We do have it in front of us.
Let's rapid fire, then we'll chug this one. This one's a 7%er. So
chug it? All right.
Yeah, get out of here. How many words do I get for the
as many as you want, really. Ultimately, how the rapid fire goes, if you've been watching along, is we're going to ask you a series of questions, and you just say the first thing that comes to your head. If this is not a question on here, you have a different answer. Like, for example, people ask me the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. My answer is Led Zeppelin. If you have something like that, feel free to. But that may not be the case. This has nothing to do with beer. Lost Grove, it's just get to know Jake and these weird-ass personality quirk questions.
Sweet. There's no, like, major political questions on here.
No,
right? Yeah.
And there's no wrong answer.
No.
There, yeah.
No. Trump or Biden 2020, who are you going for?
No comment.
No comment. Good.
Actually, fuck that. Biden, for sure.
It's fair.
And here we go. Do you like to swim or sunbathe?
Swim.
I imagine you sunbathing.
I like to swim. Okay. I don't know if you see my complexion, not a big sunbather.
Would you rather have a phone call or a text?
Phone call.
Are you a PlayStation or Xbox man?
Xbox.
Do you like Coke or Pepsi?
Neither.
The answer is Dr. Pepper. Well done. Would you rather have a smart friend or a funny friend?
Funny friend.
Yes, that's my guy right here. He's also very loyal.
But not smart.
I didn't want to say it. Are you a Marvel or DC? Any day. Marvel or DC?
DC.
My man. Do you like cornhole or ladder ball?
Cornhole.
The answer is horseshoes. Board games or video games, sir?
Board games.
Nice. Action movie or comedies?
No comment.
Rom-coms. Rom-coms. Are you a rollerblader or do you skateboard?
Rollerblade.
I'm impressed.
Wait, I take that back.
It's too late now. It's
roller skater.
Roller skater.
Roller skater.
Roller skater.
Yeah, roller skater.
Just imagine you in those knee-high socks, shorts that
roller skates.
just barely
Yeah.
Cover the junk. Just dance.
Don't imagine me wearing things that.
And Paul is
Or
imagining you
that
sunbathing.
short.
Yeah, I'm imagining you in short shorts dancing in some roller skates.
Things got weird.
Welcome to Brewnomics.
Pizza coming anytime soon.
Things got personal. This is a friendship test. Would you rather be in the beach or the mountains?
Mountains.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Not have to sleep. I would love to just not have to sleep.
Hey now. Hey now.
Man doesn't want to sleep.
That's mine.
I hate sleeping.
He hates sleep. Are you a fries or a tots man?
Fries all day.
Oh, wow. Some blasphemous words in Idaho.
What?
Yeah.
I like fry sauce.
Fry sauce goes on
with
everything.
Fries and tots.
Fair.
On your burger, on your chicken sandwich.
Do you like nuggets?
All the time.
Fair. We'll talk about that later.
Would you rather do laundry or dishes?
I'll do them both.
All right.
Good man. You're a
Good
good man.
preference.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon.
Best answer
Fly
yet.
me
Best
to
answer
the
yet.
moon.
I love that. We're going to do that. We're going to go to those like little room karaoke places downtown.
Do I have to be sun?
You have to be sober? No.
Do you have
No,
to
that
be,
wasn't the
I thought you
question.
said, do you
Go
have to be
ahead.
sunbathing?
Yes.
Obviously. You need
Have
to get
to?
tan.
No.
You need to get tan.
Preferable? Yes. You are doing the old blue eyes there. Yeah, like 'cause that's more of a spray tan.
Fuzzy or smooth?
Smooth.
I like that. Hamburger or pizza?
No comment.
I think he's a taco man.
He's a taco man.
Taco man. Left or right?
Left.
A minute. And would you rather be a ninja or a pirate?
Ninja.
All right.
I respect that.
Because I can be a ninja pirate.
Yeah, you're a ninja pirate.
Yeah, I can
that's the
steal
best
all
one.
your shit and you won't even know it.
And then get drunk on rum afterwards.
When I steal your rum.
All right. Now, let's drink this last beer. So finishing with our heavy hitter, huh?
Yes, indeed. We
What are
got
we getting into here?
crumbling herb.
Crumbling herb.
Crumbling herb. Little Outcast reference there. JT, big music fan, a head brewer.
Which album was that off of? Stankonia?
I think it is. No. Is it?
No. That was the only Outcast album I could think of.
It might be 2020 or Steak. It's not Steakonia.
No, I don't think so, because I had that album. I think I'd know that.
Yeah.
Outcast.
Oh, he's
looking
going
at
to
the
be
colored
mad at me.
guy.
I didn't know that one.
Stop.
Yeah, that
I'm
sucks.
looking at the only POC here. Hey.
7%.
What's that?
Simcoe Mosaics. Delicious. Big hop nose.
I can tell by the smell this is going to be my beer of the night, because this is right up my alley. I'm one of those, like, you look at me, you're like, he's got tattoos, he's a little bit chubby, big old beard, always wearing brewery shit. I bet he loves IPAs.
Loves IPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally that guy.
This is the jam.
This is the
one
jam.
you're like,
Totally
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Nice, like, piney characteristics. But still very palatable, right? Like, not, like, overly bitter on the back end. Like, you got that little chewiness, but, like, not
It's
crazy.
light. It really is. I'm getting good. So more of a Pacific Northwest style IPA here.
Totally.
So the classic one. You get
So-
that nice, danky, nice piney. It does not bite you.
No.
I don't think, though, especially at
Cool
7.1.
finish. Yeah.
Very cool finish. I dig this.
Nice. So this one complements our First Sight IPA. So First Sight IPA, that's it's actually our big seller.
Say, would you call that your flagship, maybe?
It's our flagship.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's what we got in Albertsons and Winco's, in 12-ounce cans, going for usually around $9.99.
Usually.
Depends on where you're going. Winco, $8.99. Great deal. But that one's more of like our north, like a New England style IPA is the First Sight, where it's like a lot juicier, right? More of those type of hop character, only 6.5. This bad boy is more of like our Northwest style IPA, where it's got that piney, rosy, like just right up front, get that nice hop character to it, but not overly bitter. I think that's one thing that JT and myself just like is that overly pungent bitterness on the back end. But we still want a really balanced beer. And I think that's what this brings, is that you get a balanced beer, but you still get that like really nice hop profile all the way throughout it.
This might be my new favorite, like, local IPA. This is tits. Like, it's got just the right carbonation on it, beautiful color, hits you just right, not gentle, but not hard by any, but there's a little bit of aggression there, but in a very friendly, loving sort of way. You having a bad day, this is going to hug you and tell you it's going to be okay. It reminds me a lot. You have a terrible day at work, you had some weird customers, like, was that guy on meth? Don't do meth, people. Just ruined everything for me. You're saying weird things. You're making other customers uncomfortable. My boss called me. He just chewed my ass. I can't handle this Monday anymore. I need to go home. Your beautiful dog runs up to you and jumps on you, and you're just like, everything's okay. That's this beer to me. It's that loving, loyal pooch that comes up after a long, hard day and lets you know, we're all right, bro. It's just another day.
I like it.
Doing okay.
It might be the best explanation I've ever heard for why you would drink this beer. 100%.
Put it on the website.
Yes. Or any other time, actually, as well.
Yeah.
Or you just want a
or
damn
you're just
good
like having a
Northwest
great
IPA.
day and life's fucking so lovely. Yeah, drink a Crumble and Herb because it's going to make life even better.
Yeah.
Right? Delicious, though. Yeah, no. Simcoe Mosaic, which are just like super tasty hops,
Can't go
right?
wrong.
Like, yeah, can't go wrong with those bad boys. Yeah. We definitely have a lot of fan favorites out there screaming that this is what we need to put into our packaged products next. You know, right now we've got First Sight IPA and then our Teddy Bear Picnic, which is our golden ale. And, you know, they're distributed throughout the Albertsons and the Wincos currently. But we're thinking maybe next spring we might be bringing out a little Crumble and Herb into the market.
I will
to kinda hit
line
that
up to
shelf,
be one of
so-
the first ones to get that.
Yeah, so
For sure.
You know, we've had many beers, as you can imagine, on our show. And
you guys like beer?
Yeah, we love beer.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
the 4 beers we've had tonight, they've been really easy on the palate. And I haven't been able to say that about like almost all the other brewers we've
Easy in a great way, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Just like drink.
Very inviting.
Especially for a 7.1 Northwest IPA. Do you know what the IBUs are on this?
We're at like 74,
Okay.
75.
That's
yeah.
higher than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Granted, IBUs are a very loose interpretation of
We hate
hoppiness, but
IBUs.
As
In
well
fact,
you
I
should.
actually just made that up.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. That's how we'll do with all of our beers. JT refuses to tell me what the IBUs are on a beer.
That was amazing.
You know, maybe that's not the most, but hey, that's who we are.
There's
Lost
no
Grove.
more. There's no
Find
more.
your own fucking Lost Grove if you don't like ours.
There you go. There's, in my
I take
opinion,
that back.
there's no.
Well,
fine
actually,
there.
no, that's what we want you to do. Find your own Lost Grove.
There's no more bullshit measurement in beer than IBUs. In my, we've said that a long time.
100%
but
agreed.
I still like to ask that question.
It's the dumbest measurement ever. It's so dumb. But for all of you that believe in it, totally take a peek.
I mean, it is what it is.
It does measure bittering units for the amount of hops that go into the beer. And, you know, I think that it could bring out something that you enjoy or don't.
Only you'll know. All right. Well,
Now that we've offended everybody on your podcast.
our listeners don't offend easily, thankfully. All right, so we just have to give a quick shout to Stacy Connolly, our friend at Boise Beer Buddies. Do you guys, obviously
Stacey.
she kind of hooked us up, helped us out with this meeting. I assume you guys are a buddy hub?
We totally are.
What are
Yep.
the advantages of being a buddy hub, or if you're a beer buddy member, going to Lost Grove Brewing?
I believe you get a $1 off your first beer. Yes. And if you come down and mention Brewnomics, you will also get a $1 off your first beer.
Look at that.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Oh, well,
Look at
so
that.
I don't know if you can combine the two. I haven't decided yet, but you might get $2 off if you're a buddy hub and you mention Brewnomics.
Damn, Better tip well, though.
Yeah.
And
Serious.
if you're not a part of Boise Beer Buddies, remember, if you go to their website, use Brewnomics as a discount code, 25% off.
What?
Yeah.
25% off of becoming a Buddy Hub member?
Oh, becoming a Boise Beer Buddy member.
Oh,
So instead of
nice.
$20 a year, you get your membership for only $15 a year.
Damn, that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's-
And that's a heck of a deal.
It's a hell
Because there's
of a
so many breweries that are on that where they give you like dollars off or buy one, get ones. I think there's even a
Yeah,
couple
it-
breweries that aren't as cheap as me that give other things better
And it's
than I
not
do.
even breweries. Event centers like the Lounge at the End of the Universe is a top tier
Oh,
buddy
yeah.
hub. Our friends at Spitfire, they're one. Their what is it? Repop downtown, little pop culture store is one. A whole bunch
It'll
of
pay
cool.
for itself
It
instantly.
absolutely does, and it's just a cool community to be a part of. They got an awesome Facebook page, so we got to give
That's
shouts to
pretty
them.
sweet. Yeah.
But back to you, Jake, since you're the one that brought us this beer. Tell us where we can find yourself, if you'd like, Lost Grove, everything like that, online, social media. Give us all your plugs. The floor is yours.
Totally. No. So, like I was saying earlier, we've been fortunate enough, due to COVID, we moved into some packaged products. So our First Sight IPA and our Teddy Bear Picnic, you can find at like Albertsons and Winco's, and a bunch of other cool like local stores as well, like Brewforia and Brewforia.
That one hasn't been around for a while.
You cannot find it there.
Brewers Haven.
Brewers Haven, homebrew stuff.
I think I saw it at the co-op.
JD and Friends, the co-op is a major supporter of us. So a bunch of just small independents help us. On the Flies over in Boise are pretty sweet too. So look for our packaged products out there. And then we're in a number of bars and restaurants. We're in like 120 different bars and restaurants throughout the valley that carry our product. And so our goal is to always keep our product as fresh as we can, which is super fun. And then you can check us out on our Facebook page, which is Lost Grove Brewing, on our website, lostgrovebrewing.com, Instagram, lost-grove-brew, I believe is what our Instagram tag is. And then if you come down, we're doing our best when it comes to, social distancing and things of that nature. But again, for us, we totally believe in that seeing people or just being around people in general, there's a vibe that takes place during that period of time. And so right now we have our parking lot we've cordoned off to where we're hosting live music on Friday and Saturday nights, where we've got tables socially distanced so that you can come out and you can enjoy live music, which isn't taking place in a ton of other spots, but we can help support those live artists. And then we can also feel safe, so you can come down into your group and you got your own table. We'll have cocktail waitresses coming around and waiters coming around, getting your drink order. So that's super fun. And then we also are doing trivia on Thursday nights. So if you're a big trivia buff, we're doing that outside as well. So you got to bundle up, but bundle up, be safe, come out, have an opportunity to still enjoy, being around other people, but, being socially distanced and enjoying your time with your friends and who your core is. And so, we're doing our best to, continue to support our community and our economy, and then also continue to keep everybody safe. So wear a mask when you come down to our spot, but please come down and check us out because, we still need to sell beer and have a great time. And one other fun plug, I think that everybody's going to love in general is the Nug Hut is coming soon.
The Nug Hut?
The Nug Hut.
The Nug Hut.
The Nug Hut.
Huh.
Gourmet nuggets.
Oh.
The Nug Hut, a snack dispensary. Right?
All right.
So we're talking like, steak, caramelized onion, blue cheese nuggets. Maybe like a chicken cordon bleu nugget. Right? Just a straight up chicken nugget. We got little nugs for the kids, If you need a quarter pound of nugs,
Is it a little nug
coming
or
to
a
us.
lil nug?
You need a half pound of nugs, you're coming to us.
Damn.
So we got nuggets, and then we got salads. Like bomb salads, just really good salads. Then we got nuggets. Sauces for days.
Dip
What do you
your
want?
nugs
Like you
in
want a
all
hot sauce? You want a honey mustard sauce? You want a little blue cheese sauce? You want a barbecue sauce?
Please tell me you
want
guys-
like a Thai sauce?
I want a crazy spicy sauce.
We might have a crazy spicy sauce.
Like
Who knows?
Like
Still
a 2
developing it.
million Scoville spicy sauce.
Not a chance. That's so fucking hot. I'm not even gonna try that.
I think we can. I've got a 2 million Scoville hot sauce in my
It
fridge.
sounds terrible.
It fucking is.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely terrible.
I had our producer Coral come over, and she was acting all tough with hot sauces. She takes a little bite of it, and she was like, "Oh, it's not bad. It's pretty good. Got a weird flavor. It's got like 36 ghost peppers per bottle in it." And then she's like, "I didn't know you could taste hot sauce in your ears. What's going on?" That's definitely like not for the faint of heart.
Yeah,
but
we're not gonna have that.
we should,
but
though.
appreciate
That'd be fun.
it. Yeah, maybe
It's
one
like,
time.
that's
Maybe
a-
one time. We'll do a hot nug contest.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
How many hot nugs can you fit in
How
your
many hot
face?
nugs can you fit in your mouth? Yeah, eat them. But yeah, check out Nug Hut. Coming 2021. Looking January, February. Nug Hut's dropping into Lost Grove
Oh,
Brewing.
that's a hut I'm looking forward to getting my nugs in.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
All right, Jake. So this is an interesting quiz. Now I'm going to ask you a question, or I'm asking you for a favor, really. And that is to give myself, Paula, our producer Coral, the brew crew watching at home, at work, wherever you are watching this while walking your dogs, listening, doesn't matter either way. We need a little parting gift from you. What is something you're doing, watching, reading, playing, or maybe just a general bit of life advice that you would like to share with the rest of all of us that you think we should also partake in or live by?
Interesting. We're talking shows. Utopia. Everybody's got to watch that show. That show's pretty sweet. Not gonna lie, I think it's pretty cool. A little too relevant at times. Kind of creepy. Things you need to live by. It's the Lost Grove mission. I truly believe in you got to figure out what you love, and you got to find out what you love to do, and you need to commit yourself to actually doing that. At times it's really hard, and we can all be in tough spots, especially with our current times. But if you can figure out what you love to do, and if you can actually commit to yourself on trying to do that, I think things are going to get a lot better for you. And then I think everybody's got to, get back to that child feeling about loving nugs, And in 2021, you got to come eat these nugs because they're going to be delicious.
Oh, that's my favorite thing. I can't thank you enough for coming and sharing your time with us, your stories with us, your passion with us. In the future, your nugs with us. Can't wait to get a hold of them tasty
we'll do a whole
nugs.
new, talk about that.
Yes, we'll do a beer and nug pairing. There we go. But also your beer, we really appreciate it, man. I'm sure the people appreciate it. It's amazing. Our friends in Idaho and other parts, they really love this just kind of brewery. They love hearing the brewery passion, just the information, the stories, whatever it may be. And I think you brought that in spades and then some. So again, I hope we do more stuff in the future. Kick ass, man. I love the product. Love the history. Love the story. Love the person. Encourage you guys strongly. Pick up some Lost Grove. Pick up some Lost Grove. Pick up some Lost Grove beer. I always encourage you to go to the Tap House. It's a cool-ass place. You got some cool-ass people. Damn good beer. Paul, you got anything else good for the people?
We are giving away the shirt. If you guys are watching, if you're listening, we're still giving away a shirt.
I guess I won't keep that one.
You will not keep that one.
Son of a
This
bitch.
goes to the people.
Fine. Well, looks like it fit me perfectly, though.
You know what? Fuck those people. Jerry, you can have that shirt. Jerry gets to keep the shirt. That was a solid argument.
Paul already apparently claimed that he's going to keep the pint glass.
I did.
No, we'll absolutely do a giveaway. No, it's awesome. But remember, again, Buddy Hub, go down there, bring your buddy card for $1 off your pint, or mention Brewnomics, $1 off your pint. If you have a buddy card and Brewnomics, maybe $2 off your pint.
We'll throw a $10 gift card in for whoever wins the shirt, too.
Hey, there we
Hey.
go. We like that. Now we have to give away the shirt. Fine.
Or I guess you just win it, Jerry.
I win! Yay! No, Dick, we can't appreciate it so much. Do you have anything you'd like to end on, or any questions you'd like to ask, or things you'd like to say?
No, I mean, I honestly, I got to say thanks for Stacy for introducing us. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to interview us, and spread the word about, my business and our business and what we're trying to do. And yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the beers. And I mean, Lounge at the End of the Universe, super sweet spot. So
great location.
Come
too.
support this space, because not only where this bar is cool, but the building that it's in, they do a bunch of really cool things. So I mean, coming and learning about the whole complex, I think is something that everybody should do. And so I just appreciate it all around. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. Well, until next time, make sure you stay tuned. Check out the Lounge, Boise.com, their website. Importantly, check out their GoFundMe page, project name, #Save the Lounge. Be good to each other. Drink good beer. Drink local. Until next time, I'm Jerry.
Paula.
I'm Jake.
Cheers.